and welcome back to BHookedCrochet.com. I'm your host Brittany, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to crochet the reverse single crochet, also known as the crab stitch. The reverse single crochet is most often used as a border stitch. So to follow along with this tutorial, you'll want to have some type of crochet that you want to make a border around. I'm going to be demonstrating using a washcloth that I crocheted using the single crochet method. I'm also going to be using a worsted weight and a size 5.5mm hook. To begin the reverse single crochet, I'm just going to take a piece of fabric that I have already crocheted. This is just a washcloth that I crocheted using the single crochet method. And in this case I'm going to add a border around the washcloth, and this is most commonly what the reverse single crochet is used for because it has a really neat texture to the edge of the stitches. So we want to start off with a slip knot, and we're going to start at the opposite end that we're used to. So typically we crochet from this side and go this way, and the reason why this is called the reverse single crochet is because we're moving in the reverse direction. So I'm going to start off just in my chain 2 space. Now if you're doing a border on a hat and you don't have a corner to work with, then you would just insert your hook into the first stitch that you want to start with. And we're just going to bind on in the normal way that we're used to. So pull that through the stitch and then chain 1. And we're chaining 1 because it technically is still a single crochet even though it's in the reverse motion, so it's the same height as 1 chain. So I'm going to be honest and say that this stitch took me a little while to get used to. It's awkward because we're moving in the reverse direction. What we want to do from here is we're going to swing our hook around and we're going to insert it into the next stitch. And then yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both of those loops. So we're still doing the single crochet motion, but we're just, like I said, doing it in the opposite direction. And that's really all there is to it. So we'll swing back, find our next stitch, insert our hook there, grab the working yarn and pull it through. And keep going. It takes a couple of stitches for you to start seeing the texture. So once we get about 4 or 5 of them, you'll be able to see what it looks like. Kind of creates a bumpy, ridged edge. One thing that I've found that creates a neater looking stitch is to make sure that you're not making your stitches too tight. So when I go into the stitch and pull the yarn through, I don't just want to leave it there. I want to keep pulling up, and then you can finish off the stitch. So if your gauge is too tight, then you're not going to get as much of a bumpy effect as you do if you're a little bit more conscious about your gauge and your tension. One thing I will mention, if you are not binding on a new color like I am here, so I'm just creating a border, but let's say you're finishing off a hat or anything else and you're using the same color and you're not wanting to bind off, you just want to keep going with the same yarn. If that's the case, you're going to start off your border round just as you would if you were crocheting in the proper direction. You're just going to chain 1 and then begin moving in the opposite direction that you normally would. And you'll be doing the stitch in the same way that I'm demonstrating here. For those of you who are working on a squared project like I am, or a project that has corners, so if you're doing a border on an afghan, which is actually really popular with this stitch, you'll just want to make a reverse single crochet into your chain 2 space from your corner, and then I chain 2 to continue and keep that corner, and then you'll want to reverse single crochet into the same chain 2 space, and then you just keep on going. So as you can see here, the reverse single crochet is always going to be used as a border stitch, and that's because once you finish this off, there's no way that we can work back into these stitches. So this is a finishing technique that's very common for projects such as afghans and hats and washcloths, which is what I have here. But you can use it for any application. Anytime you need a decorative edge, this is one of the easiest stitches that you can do, and it creates a very unique finish. Be sure to check out BHookedCrochet.com for more techniques just like this one, free crochet patterns, and video tutorials. I'm your host, Brittany. We'll see you next time.